Welcome to the Labour Force. I am Bongeni Muchwa. Reactions continue to pour in following the surprise announcement yesterday that South African Airways is set to resume flying on the 23rd of next month. It's also been announced that low-cost carrier Kulula.com is also getting back to the skies next week. The question is, what are we to make of all of this? It's been 2 months since the Department of Public Enterprises announced that it had sold a 51% stake in SAA to the Takatso Consortium for 3.5 billion rand. Takatso was expected to come up with the money over the next 3 years after completing a thorough due diligence on the long-grounded airline. Analysts say the announcement that the airline is now ready to fly again in a matter of weeks is a welcome surprise.
The travelling public would like to see competition, and hopefully that will create lower fares and encourage more people to travel. After all, it's much easier to travel domestically or locally than it is to travel internationally.
However, Leach says he believes that the decision to resume flights so soon is a bit rushed.
We need to ask ourselves the question of what is the rush? And I think one of the reasons that they are so keen to get back into the air is because they have obligations to their code-share partners. You know, SAA is part of Star Alliance and is code-share with many other airlines. And that obligation really requires SAA to feed their airline partnerships, so to supply passengers to them on their routes, which would mean feeding them in from across Southern Africa to the hubs of Johannesburg and Cape Town. So there's probably a lot of pressure on SAA to do that.
On the other hand, Leach has no worries about Kulula.com's return to the skies next week.
Comair has got a very weak balance sheet at the moment, and it's just recently been taken over out of business rescue. But again, they've got huge ongoing or recurring financial obligations in terms of aircraft leases in particular, and therefore it's absolutely urgent that they get back into the air as soon as possible, which is why they've always said they will start again from the 1st of September and why they're going to do that. So it's nice to see some additional competition opening up against Fly South Air, which now almost has the domestic low-cost carrier market to itself.
SAA will begin with flights from Johannesburg to Cape Town, Maputo, Harare, Lusaka, Kinshasa and Accra. Mbongeni Muchwa, SABC News, Johannesburg. For more, I'm joined by the General Secretary of the Dynamic People's Union, Mr. Mashudu Raphetha. Mr. Raphetha, it's a pleasure to welcome you back on the show. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Bongeni, and good afternoon to the viewers out there.
Well, you've been on this show many times over the past year and a half, and you've been consistent in calling for SAA to resume flights without delay. You must be thrilled this morning.
Indeed, Bongeni, we are very much excited. It is not only going to assist those who have remained in the company, but there are those who have had to take a drastic, if not a very conscious decision to leave the airline, South African Airways, when it was unfashionable. So there is hope for those 3,700 employees who have left. Some of them are struggling to find employment. So the resumption of South African Airways gives them hope. Even those who remained have not, they had uncertainty in terms of future, but now there is a light under the tunnel.
Are you confident that SA is going to make it? It's a very tough market, the aviation market at the moment, not just locally, but globally, of course, because of the pandemic and so on. Are you confident that they're going to make it?
Yes, we are very much confident that they're going to make it. With what we have done, our contribution in coming up with the hybrid airline and the fact that they have chosen the routes that were doing well, even during the times they were in financial quagmire. So the fact that we are returning to Nairobi or in Nigeria or Harare, even here domestically, Cape Town, those routes are very much fundamental. For South African Airways, it will be to just say, we are back, and that with the backing that they had from the strategic partner and government, I think it will come right. We were a little bit worried about the conclusion of the ongoing due diligence. But now that there's a pronouncement, on the resumption of this airline to fly. We are hopeful and we are indeed excited, and we call upon our members to get ready.
Well, there's been I don't know if I can use the word concern about the lack of detail coming through, especially on the part of Takatso, the consortium, in terms of details of the money, the 3.5 billion that they're supposed to fork out, if they have it or they're still going to raise and so on. Are you comfortable with Takatso, the majority shareholder, and I say that right now, as your new employers?
We are not comfortable. We, however, welcome the idea of a strategic equity partner on the basis that the airline will have a conclusion of what it went through in the past 2 years when it was on the rescue. We believe that the shareholder has done a thorough assessment in opting for this strategic equity partner. But right now, we can't. We are not in the driving seat until when SAA has resumed, and that we have met the new owners, and then we can be able to pronounce. But right now, the only thing that we can hope is that when they come on board, they must make decisions that will be pro-employees. Anything that will not be pro-employees, we will be willing to go out and ensure that we demonstrate our powers as Labour Force.
Of course, now coming to Kulula.com, you have members there as well. How are your members feeling over there? They must be equally excited as well, going back to work next week.
Indeed, because look, our members, the main aim for us is that we welcome the news that aviation industry as a whole will gradually and then be an active player in the economy. Because the resumption of Kulula means that our members at Shisport, our members at all other ground handling, and those who are in these other low-cost airlines where we have the likes of in the Menzies side and also the other ones that are doing baggage handling, all those, the resumption of Kulula, including SAA and ComAir, will assist us. However, we are worried in terms of Mango because that's where our members are now still staying at home. We hope that with the lessons that we have learned from the rescue process of South African Airways, this of Mango airline will not drag. This is what we are hoping.
Talking about Mango, the business rescue process there has just begun. I understand that there's been the first meeting already with the appointed business rescue practitioner. How did that meeting go? Are you happy about where things are going?
Although we are not actively participating in that meeting due to some other reasons, the fact is that we know that in terms of the law, within 25 days, the business rescue practitioner must come up with a plan. And we don't see any foreseeable delays because this is not a company in the magnitude of South African Airways. Otherwise, even the political interference is too little. So we are hopeful that such process will be completed in time.
Well, Mr. Raphetha, I thank you very much for your time. We do appreciate you making time to come on the show. We appreciate your insights that you always give us into the goings-on in the aviation industry. And I wish you so and all the workers in the aviation industry luck and do have a good day. Thank you. All right, that's where we leave it. Up next, The Alternative Investor with Nastasia Arendse. Stay with us.